know. We're very pleased to have Wally in attendance with us today, and we'd like to kick things off with his presentation about Kornami.
I'm Wally Rines, and a year ago, I was just winding down from 25 years as CEO of a $1.5 billion public corporation engaged in technical software and doing some work for DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. They asked me to look into fully homomorphic encryption, and I talked to all the leading semiconductor companies and came away with the same answer that FHE is more than 10 years away and would require more than 1 million times the processing power of today's best servers. Well, I gave my report to DARPA and then fortuitously ran into Gordy Campbell, one of the premier venture capitalists in the semiconductor industry, who I've known for many years. Gordy introduced me to Kornami, and Paul Master, the CTO of Kornami, told me about their incredible technology. A chip, a software programming environment, all with the ability to do machine learning and artificial intelligence more than an order of magnitude faster than the best of any processors that have been disclosed, including the incumbent NVIDIA. Well, I was very impressed, but I told Paul, getting visibility with so much competition is really difficult. And Paul said, well, we can do something where there isn't a lot of competition. It's called real-time, fully homomorphic encryption, and I'm sure you've never heard of it. Well, I told him, yes, Paul, I have heard of it, and I'm quite sure you can't do it, especially not in real time. Well, over the next few months, going through all the emulation data, I became convinced that Kornami really can do fully homomorphic encryption in real time. And that began a new change in my career and made me president and CEO of Kornami. Now, Kornami was named for the tsunami of cores, the ability to run applications on multi-core processors. Unlike most of the companies that have tried to do this previously and have started with the hardware and tried to figure out how to program it, Kornami started with the software and developed a complete programming model called TrueStream over a period of 5 years. That definitely accelerated multi-core processing, but what Kornami realized, if you really want to cause an impact on the industry, you need to do a chip that can take advantage of it and can be scalable in performance over chips and boards and systems up to 64 million cores and the accompanying processing capability. Well, the advantage today is that there are thousands of software programs today that can run without change on the Kornami chip, as well as the compute environment. And in addition, because there are frameworks for fully homomorphic encryption, Kornami can in fact accelerate the ability to compute on encrypted data and make FHE a reality that will lead to billions of dollars in the future. Well, with the initial capability in machine learning and AI, Kornami's initial introduction next year can go head-to-head against NVIDIA with up to 10 times the performance, much lower power, and comparable cost. And while that can take Kornami quickly to the $100 million plus range, the real excitement comes as more and more customers discover the fully homomorphic encryption capability. FHE allows a user to encrypt data with what's called quantum secure encryption, send it to the cloud, and all forms of processing can be performed on the data while it's still in encrypted form. And the results sent back, still encrypted, no one has ever seen the data. It's the ultimate computer security. DARPA refers to it as the holy grail of computer security. Customers will, of course, need to evaluate it, so Kornami is designing a server that can be used up to 3 million cores to evaluate it. And there are between 500 and 1,000 financial service companies that will need to quickly adopt and evaluate the technology. Kornami will sell the servers for $1 million each, very profitably, and Gartner predicts that 25% of all companies will have FHE programs within the next 5 years. One customer, a Fortune 50 customer, has already given us a forecast that they will purchase over $100 million worth of Kornami servers the first year and up to $1 billion over the next 2 years. The chip design is complete and now in final verification. There will be production parts next year and servers, and early customers are already working with Kornami. Just recently, Jan Geldermacher joined our board. I joined as CEO in March, and we're all looking forward to what's going to be a revolution in computing technology, making multi-core computing a reality and creating a multi-billion-dollar business very rapidly. I hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Well, thanks to Wally for that really concise and informative description of what Kornami is. We're very enthused about what they're doing and really looking forward to seeing how the next couple of quarters play out. I'd like to turn now to TaskHuman. TaskHuman is a digital health startup that Impact VC invested in July 2019 after an introduction from our own venture advisor, Gayatri Radhakrishnan. The CEO and founder is Robbi Swaminathan, and I'd like to ask you to join me in welcoming Robbi and describing this digital health company.
Everyone, my name is Robbi Swaminathan. I'm the founder and CEO of TaskHuman. TaskHuman is an impact venture portfolio company. They actually led our investment, an investment in us in the seed stage, back in April of 2019. And then since then, Impact actually led our small Series A round, more recently in March of this year. And we've done really well with their help. They've been extremely helpful. Jack Crawford has a board seat on us, extremely impactful conversations, very, very founder friendly, and tons of customer, partner, and investor introductions have all fueled the story that you're about to hear. So if you're considering investing in impact ventures as an LP or directly in TaskHuman, please do so. And more importantly, we're big fans of Jack, so definitely support him so he can support more entrepreneurs like me and and others. So let me tell you a little bit about TaskHuman now. So TaskHuman is a wellness app that provides one-on-one coaching through real live human connections. So when you're not feeling great, that could be because of a lot of things. You could be off physically, maybe you have some aches and pains or health issues you're dealing with. It could be a mental stress, it could be emotional, spiritual. So in those moments where you're not feeling great, what do? You're probably like most people, you go to Google, right? And you type in maybe something like, how do I lose weight? And, Google's job is to give you 863 million links and let you read all these articles and videos. And we thought, in this day and age where it's so easy to get a taxi on demand within 3 minutes of needing one, where it's so easy to get your groceries delivered same day, because of Amazon and others, why is it so hard to find live human coaches when you need them? Especially because the results that Google gives you is just a bunch of junk, right? I'm sure if you do all the 30 easy ways to lose weight, it's not going to help one bit. So you really need human beings to help you. And that's what TaskHuman instantly connects you with. So let me just show it to you. So this is just my phone. We're available on both the app stores, Apple as well as Google. And when you tap TaskHuman, welcome to the world's first search engine where the end result of your search is not articles to read or videos to watch. You could type something like lose weight and, really get live human connections and coaches who can help. So in this particular case, you're actually talking to a live coach. And sorry, what's a demo? Unless you have technical issues. So let me bring up the phone screen again. There you go. So I just went into the search engine and typed in lose weight, and hey presto, you get actual coaches who can help. So you literally, green dot means Demi is available right now, and you can call her over video call right away, or book a session, or request a call with her. So it's really pretty cool. Gets you talking to live folks that instantly, pretty quick. And we have unlimited, free minutes coaching for corporate customers. This has been the cornerstone of what we've been able to do. We have AI-powered people search, which I just showed to you, and the real-time provider availability. These are all huge differentiators that just don't exist in in any other platform. And because of this, we've been able to drive a lot of business more recently. So we're now launched at Job Corps, Metadata, Purdue University, BTS, and some big accounts are coming online like Juniper, City of Lafayette, and so on. And a heck of a lot more in the pipeline. We have almost 4.5 million of pipeline built, and we're building a big business. And this is just our first year of revenue, so we're really excited about it. Again, all thanks to Jack and team's help. And engagement, once we actually launch, is also pretty high for companies like us. Our NPS score is actually 82, and we drive pretty high levels of repeat engagement. So it turns out that 73% of all corporate customers that call are actually making 2 calls or more. And whopping 30% of people end up making 10 or more calls and getting almost 11, 12 hours of coaching on the platform. So we're really pleased with the progress here. And it's a pretty comprehensive range of issues that people are getting coaching on. So I won't spend time on this given the limited amount of time. But look, if you're interested in learning more, just give me a buzz at robbi@taskhuman.com. I'm happy to walk you through this in more detail. And more importantly, you're here to support Impact Ventures. So I really hope you do. And they are an awesome fund and helping many, many companies like us. So thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you, Robbi. A great example of a strong partnership between an entrepreneur and an investor. And we are really excited to see how things play out. We think that TaskHuman has a tailwind in the COVID environment and is a really good investment both in this environment and beyond. I want to turn to Infinidec. I had the pleasure of touring the Infinidec facility in Roseville early last year with Major League Baseball manager Dusty Baker, which was a thrill for me in a couple of different ways. And I got to experience their virtual reality platform myself. Subsequent to that, we completed our diligence and later invested in Infinidec in 2019. The management team has long connections to Impact Venture Capital, including Impact advisors Ken Boson, who serves as CEO, and Michael Ward, who serves as Chief Strategy Officer at Infinidec. Welcome to Ken, and let's roll his presentation.
Hi, my name is Kenneth Boson. I am the CEO of Infinidec, the platform that revolutionizes the way you live, learn, work, and play in virtual reality. Prepare to see how your future will change. There are 3 powerful forces coming together right now that make this a very unique opportunity for Infinidec. The technological forces of 5G in the cloud are being combined to present never before seen opportunities for extremely rapid data exchange and easy, limitless storage. Immersive technologies are finally being socially accepted in a massive explosion, and the economic force of the low cost of these immersive technologies all make for a perfect storm for Infinidec. Infinidec manufactures the world's first commercially available omnidirectional treadmill. The enterprise and consumer virtual reality market is projected to be $132 billion by 2025. The patented device is like nothing else available in the world, and we have numerous additional patents pending. We are a revenue-generating company with clients in multiple industries on 3 continents. Our team consists of a talented group of business executives with over 120 years combined experience in startups, sales, finance, engineering, and manufacturing. And as you all know, we are backed by our partner, Impact Venture Capital. The Infinidec provides 100% natural walking experience, allowing the user to walk in any direction. There are no special shoes, harnesses, or additional hardware required to have a truly incredible immersive experience. It is ready to play into any virtual reality content already developed, and we have excited customers in the military, healthcare, education, and film production industries. 2020 was a breakout year for Infinidec. Back with Impact's funding, we had an amazing year, even in the midst of a worldwide pandemic. Here are just some of our top clients, all with multi-million-dollar lifetime relationship potential. In the U.S. federal market, the U.S. Army, Navy, and Air Force are clients, as well as the U.S. FDA. In healthcare, the $30 billion United Health Group and the prestigious Cleveland Clinic are clients, as well as international partners. And we have numerous college and university clients, including the University of Nebraska, Rochester, and Orange Coast College. Also in 2020, we grew our sales pipeline to in excess of $8.5 million. Currently, we are a B2B company focusing our sales on that industry for the next 18 to 20 months while we finalize our consumer-based unit. Every single industry in the world uses virtual reality in a big way. That B2B market is projected to be $50 million by 2025. Military, healthcare, and education alone make up about $32 billion of this, and we have solid clients in all three of those markets. We also have numerous channel partners, both domestically and abroad, to help us achieve our future growth plans. In 2022, we will introduce the Infinitec consumer device, a smaller, faster, lighter, less expensive home fitness unit. The device will combine three massive markets: home fitness, VR gaming, and VR travels. Projections for this are to be an $82 billion market by 2025. I bet you had no idea that there are 2.4 billion gamers in the world. Yes, that is correct, 2.4 billion, and growing at 5% a year. And many of them are aware of the Infinitec and anxious to get one in their homes. Our enterprise and consumer devices will be combined with a SaaS platform and our enabling users to access a massive amount of content. Imagine stepping onto the Infinitec to play any game, hike any trail, run any marathon, tour any museum, walk in any park, see any site, anywhere in the world, all from the comfort of your home. The Infinitec is creating a whole new category. We have an aggressive growth plan to take the company to $50 million by the end of 2024. Here you can see the annual growth as well as the number of units, both in the consumer and the enterprise market. We plan to secure $4 million by the end of Q1 of 2021 and break even in 2022. Along the way, we'll expand into more B2B markets, reduce the cost of both devices, sign up more channel partners, and roll out our SaaS offering. So please, join the ride of your life on the Infinitec, the platform that revolutionizes the way you live, learn, work, and play in virtual reality. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ken. When I first learned about Infinitec, I already knew that virtual reality was a game changer for the gaming space. But what I've learned from Ken since then is that it's also a real disruptive technology in fields like physical rehabilitation, military and police training, and education. And I think that video really helped us all understand how it can have use cases in those very different sets of customers. And so that makes me very excited. I want to turn to Cap Connect Plus. Last year, we asked the question, what companies should exist but don't? And how can we help them get started? The answer turned out to be Cap Connect Plus, which was founded in March of this year by former treasurers and investment executives. The company just completed its seed financing round last week, and we are pleased to welcome in attendance COO Suresh Pereira and by a video presentation CEO Richard Lauch, formerly of Starbucks, to describe this new capital market startup.
Created Cap Connect Plus to address one of the biggest sources of friction companies face when raising capital: the legacy investment bank system for corporate bond issuance. This market is huge. Last year, investment-grade bond issuance was $1.2 trillion. For many years, the big investment banks have controlled the process with a black box system that is outdated, expensive, and quite frankly, deeply frustrating for treasurers. There are four main problems in the bank system. First, the banks charge issuers a high set of fees. These average 55 basis points of the money raised. That's going to work out to almost $12 billion in fee revenue for the investment banks this year. The second major problem is the banks control how the deal is priced, telling the issuer and investors what they think the coupon rate should be, instead of letting supply and demand dictate the market. The banks set coupon rates too high and use this excess coupon value to reward investors at the issuing company's expense. Despite this, most bond investors are not well served by today's process. That's because the banks also control how the bonds are allocated to each buyer, and they play favorites. There is no transparency to how this happens, and the treasurer, bizarrely, has almost no say. The banks use their position to reward their favored clients with generous allocations. That favored group is very small, just a handful of the largest bond funds who have big trading relationships with the banks. Everyone else is shortchanged. The fourth problem is the very antiquated communication methods and manual processes still employed by the banks today, so that pricing and allocation can literally take an entire day. Our solution is created by treasurers, for treasurers, and their investors. It's a technology platform that connects companies issuing debt directly with their institutional buyers. It changes the game by putting corporate treasurers in control of the process. We believe Cap Connect Plus is unique in truly addressing the market failures around pricing, fees, and transparency. We solve these problems through our rules-based auction platform. We dramatically cut the fees to issuers. On a typical $1 billion deal, an issuer would save $4.5 million with Cap Connect Plus. Investors will place firm bids on price and volume, allowing the market and not the banks to set a fair coupon price. Based on academic research, this will save issuers a further $3 million. Our go-to-market plan focuses on product validation with real enterprise customers. We have already validated demand with blue chip customers on both sides of the market. We have 10 major customers on track to begin beta testing our issuer platform starting in October. Included in this test are Nike, Pfizer, Starbucks, and Lord Abbett. Along with developing our customer base, we will be moving the beta platform into a full production version. Our CTO, Armin Salakian, is leading this process. He has a proven track record of launching technology that meets the needs of capital markets customers. He created the bond trading platform that is used at Charles River today. This is a relationship-driven market. We will invite one company from our beta test group to work closely with us to launch our production platform with a live issuance in the first half of 2021. This first issuance will be a groundbreaking event in the capital markets industry. It is certain to be covered by major media outlets such as the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and CNBC. Our team understands the importance of this moment, and we will ensure that this first deal is executed flawlessly. We set out to eliminate one of the biggest sources of friction that companies face when raising capital today. The problems I described to you today are common to many other areas of the $41 trillion US bond market. We can eventually grow into non-investment grade debt, municipal bonds, commercial paper, and other financial products. Thank you for your time, and we'd love to answer any questions.
Thank you, Richard. You can see that Cap Connect is tackling a massive market, and even a small penetration can be worth a lot of valuation. Let's turn to our fifth company, ScoreData. ScoreData is an early stage company founded by Vas Bondakar and Prasanta Behera, both of whom are with us today, and their co-founder, Moiden Mohideen, whose name I'm having trouble pronouncing, to provide predictive solutions for customer engagement, what they call machine learning for agent-intermediated outcomes. I will let the CEO, Vas, describe what they mean by that.
The LP meeting. We are very fortunate to have had Impact VC as part of the ScoreData Series A round. In fact, they led the round right in the midst of a pandemic. They also did substantial due diligence over several months, talking to our customers, partners, board members, and prospects. So today I'll tell you a little bit about how we are reinventing how businesses engage with customers through agents. Over the last 12 months, we have processed over $3 billion of loans for a bunch of financial
We'll give it a sec to see if the audio comes back. There we go.
And we target the rapidly growing cloud contact center market. It's growing at 25% compound aggregate rate. We build predictive applications to gain new customers, to reduce customer churn, and to increase cross-sell and upsell. We have a strong growing pipeline via direct and indirect channels. And our most recent accomplishment is that we closed 2 major deals at Lifesize and Entity Data in this last quarter. We are currently in the process of setting up a US direct sales force. This is a team with a strong record of building lasting products and companies. In 2020, Entity Data provided us or gave us the Innovator of the Year award over several hundred companies that participated in this competition. In 2018, Gartner gave us a Cool Vendor to Watch award. So what do we do? What problem do we solve for the industry? Agent intermediated businesses, which is just about any business, are losing billions of dollars because the right customer is not matched the right agent, empowered with the right actionable tools. What Score Data does is empowers enterprises to drive profitable outcomes using historical and external data sets and using complex machine learning solutions to match the right agent to the right customer armed with the right product. Essentially, what we do is we solve problems in customer acquisition, churn prevention, and cross-sell and upsell. And this is how we do it. We segment the consumers so that they are matched correctly to the right product, and the right product is also matched to the right agent, which is matched to the right customer. So it's a tight feedback loop, a virtuous cycle. Now you combine this with nudge and negotiation, and this is a game changer in the industry. So who have we done this for? We have done this for Fidelity Guaranteed Life. As an example, we have solved these problems. We have over 60 white papers and over 25 use cases that we've implemented over the last few years. But I'll tell you some of the core use cases that we've worked on. At Entity Data, we showed an impact, a 12% reduction in average handle time and a 15% reduction in repeat calls that led to over $400,000 of savings over 75 agent contact center. And they have thousands of such agents at Fidelity Guarantee Life. We simultaneously ranked, matched, and paired consumers with agents while making sure that the right policies were recommended to the right consumer. At Citibank, another very important use case, we showed that by matching the right agent to the right caller, perhaps at the right time, or perhaps with the right loan amount, we were able to deliver a much higher recovery of loans. So this has yielded, as you can see, this has yielded millions of dollars of recovery per month on a couple $2 billion plus of loans. It's a substantial improvement over traditional techniques.
Great. Thank you, Vas. Really appreciate that overview. I want to quickly remind people to, if you have questions for either the impact team or the entrepreneurs, to submit them on the chat feature. We'll be collecting them over the course of the remainder of the session. I've known the CTO of Syntegra, Ofer Mendelevich, for 17 years and paid close attention when he quit his prior role to go full-time into the application of machine learning to medical records. The founder and CEO of Syntegra, Dr. Michael Lesh, spun this company out of UCSF, and I will let him describe how it's addressing health risks on the front lines of the current pandemic and elsewhere.
And CEO of Syntegra.io. We are a seed-stage company that was spun out of UCSF in the beginning of this year. We know that gaining access to high-quality medical data is a huge challenge, and And it's important because for AI and machine learning to accelerate innovation for researchers at biopharma, insurance companies, and health systems, they need access to vast quantities of so-called big data in the form of electronic health records, genomics, wearables, sensors, financial information, et cetera. But because privacy concerns, which are appropriate, and strict regulation around those concerns, such as the HIPAA laws, this data is locked in silos throughout the healthcare system. There are de-identification methods, which are many years old, and they're easily reversed with modern attacks and therefore no longer trustworthy. So what we've done at Syntegra is developed a novel solution in which we create synthetic derivatives or synthetic data from real world data. And we, to do that, have to have a number of criteria that has to be privacy preserving. That is to say, the synthetic data cannot be reverse engineered to discover who the data came from initially. There's got to be validated precision. That is to say, the statistical properties of the synthetic data must match the properties of the real data in any way you care to measure it. And the model has to be explainable. We have to be able to go to the FDA and say, this is how the synthetic data was created. This slide shows the model itself. We start on the left with patient journeys. And by that, we mean, think of a patient as a series of events over time. They could have been admitted to the hospital. They were given a drug. They had a blood test or something, et cetera. And you have a whole data set of patient journeys. We then train a very large neural network in what we call pattern encoding. So we're looking at the high resolution covariance between all of the variables in the real data set. And what we wind up with is a trained pattern encoder, which has within it the high resolution patterns that exist in the entire original data set. We then use a random number generator, which is essentially sampling from this high dimensional probability distribution. And from that, we create synthetic real world data. It looks like the original patient data, but it contains none of it. And therefore, re-identification cannot take place. We're working with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who have a COVID therapeutic accelerator, and we're helping them aggregate COVID data from around the world, create synthetic versions of that COVID data, which then allows researchers to get immediate access to the data in order to do research on COVID. We're also working with the NIH and something called the N3C, another very large COVID initiative. We're working with the FDA. We have a number of research studies with UCSF, Montefiore, Tufts, et cetera. This is an example of the kind of a study that we've done. This is electronic medical record from a data set called Mimic, and we had access to 50,000 admissions. And we created a synthetic data set using that data set as the real data. And what we can see here, just initially from a validation standpoint, is the match of real and synthetic data. We see the age, ethnicity, gender, et cetera, with a very, very tight correlation on the univariate distribution. A little bit more challenging is a bivariate distribution. And here we see the pairwise correlation between all the variables in the data set. On the left is the real, on the right is the synthetic. And the correlations are what they are, but the important point is that the correlation on the real data set is exactly matched by the bivariate correlation in the synthetic data set. And lastly, we are able to take the synthetic data and create predictive machine learning models, in this case using gradient boosted trees. We can create a predictive model with the real data, and we create a model with the synthetic data. And when we feed it a test set, we get exactly the same receiver operator curves, meaning that if you wanted to do state-of-the-art machine learning, you could hand someone the synthetic data set and do just as well as if you had the real data set. We have a number of engagements in our current pipeline with Duke. We have discussions ongoing with Novartis to try to free up their clinical trial data for internal use. The Blue Cross Blue Shield, their data science arm, et cetera. This is Syntegra's financial status. We closed a $3.1 million seed financing at the beginning of this year. We also got an investment from Sweat Equity Ventures in the form of staffing, and we've been able to put together a very successful both go-to-market and tech team with their help. We believe our runway will last until the end of 2021. You can see our cash balance over to the right. So in 2021, we plan on closing several SaaS deals with multiple life science customers. We will also secure partnerships with large healthcare systems to get access to their medical records in order to populate our data marketplace with synthetic versions of that data. We continue to improve our technology to be able to acquire larger and more complex data sets and to automate multi-platform containerized deployment. We have a number of validation proof points that will be published or in press in academic publications. And we're also doing a variety of work in the public sector with FDA and the NIH to receive their endorsement for use of the synthetic data set in regulatory matters. And we plan on closing our Series A in the later half of 2021.